Yo, what's going on, internets? This is another Last Slice trailer reaction with the Last Slice boys. You got your boy Trill Boy here. You got to my left, starting over with Bodega Cat, and all the way to the left, we got Jimbo the Kid.
Hello.
And yeah, we are been summoned again to do another trailer reaction. We are doing the trailer reaction of House of the Dragon, aka the Game of Thrones prelude show that will be airing on HBO Max. And yeah, it just dropped, so we're gonna check that out, get our reactions to that. So
Yeah. You guys like The Matrix so much that we got to do another one.
DJ Khaled, another one.
Another one. Oh, snap.
Shit.
He got the sword. Oh,
He got
whoa.
the sword.
another
Whoa. Another
Yeah,
one.
but wait.
What? You got something in your mouth, bro?
The hair's getting.
He got chainmail in his mouth.
He's
The hair's
got
getting in my
Jon
mouth.
Snow hair in his mouth. What's
I
going
forgot
on
my
here?
my hairdresser.
Oh,
I
God.
forgot. Got to cut my hair.
All right, gentlemen.
Ready?
Yep.
Ready in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. $200 years.
Gods. Kings. Fire.
Young Khaleesi.
Wow.
No young police.
No, that's how strong the lineage is.
And blood.
They got jousting.
Dreams didn't make us kings. Dragons did.
Okay.
All right.
Oh my God.
Next year, baby.
Damn.
2022.
Jesus Christ.
Oh boy.
Um,
A little
I
tease.
just would like to say, a statement real quick about HBO Max and HBO Max. If anybody watches from HBO Max, please better your platform. Please. For all of us. For all of us, for God's sake.
What?
That's all I gotta say. Get back to the trailer.
Fix the platform.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you watch a movie or a show and it just drops and it stops and then it starts loading and loading. It doesn't go back. I don't know. That's just me. That's my personal experience.
No, you're right. I just watched The Saints of Newark and little laggy, little buggy.
Yeah, but yeah. So I mean, what do you guys think is
So first
Gonna
thing I noticed, right? This guy has on his lapel the hand with that stick thing. Isn't that Littlefinger's?
No.
Nah, it's the
emblem?
hand of the king.
The hand of the king.
Hand of the king. Okay.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
it's funny how this is 200 years before the actual Game of Thrones, the whole story of Game of Thrones, and that girl looks like that's got to be like Khaleesi's great grandmother or something, and they
Yeah.
look like similar to each other, and that's how strong their lineage is. You know,
Uh-huh.
you can even ask Trill. Trill's from the House Targaryen, so it's right next door to
Yeah.
Targaryen. So
Yep.
you should ask him; he knows. But what do you guys think's gonna happen though? Do you guys want to speculate on?
I mean, I think finally we're gonna see how this house started and began with the dragons, and we're gonna learn literally everything of what happened pre Game of Thrones. You know, because these people ruled. Am I wrong? Like this was the house that ruled at one point.
Yeah, they were at the seat of the throne before Game of Thrones actually started. So they were the family that was running Westeros at that time. But
Because they have the dragons.
yeah, they
Right.
literally had dragons and that's pretty much was their upper hand back in the day against all the other houses.
You know, you think there's a possibility we might see a 3-headed dragon?
This guy watches Harry Potter. He watches Harry Potter way too much, man.
Oh my god.
No, I'm just saying because that's their emblem, that's their symbol, and I'm wondering now if the origin is because there's a three-headed. Understand there's three dragons, but maybe at one point, 200 years ago, there was a three-headed dragon.
The
You get what I'm
possibility.
saying?
There's a possibility.
Not like some Godzilla thing, but I'm just saying.
What,
Have
Ghidorah?
you
Ghidorah.
Oh my god.
have you guys watched any? I mean, not watched, but have you guys read any of the books?
No.
So I mean, I only read one. I didn't have the chance to read two.
Yeah.
But I was talking to our friend Skaggs over at Two Do Men podcast. Shout out to you guys. But he was saying that the throne itself looks just like the way he wrote it in the book, George R. Martin. So that's pretty interesting. Did you see how the throne looks completely different? Like if you look around the surroundings,
Yeah,
There's
it's all
more.
swords.
There's more swords. Yeah,
there's more swords. Yeah. So that's the way it looks in the book. Supposedly, that's what he said. That it's
Okay.
more authentic, and that's how it should have been. But maybe there's a reason why it doesn't look like that no more.
Oh, like what?
Right.
They took away like maybe the swords and stuff like that.
Ah.
Maybe there's a reason why those swords. It was just maybe something happened.
Could
Maybe
be.
a dragon melted the outside layer of the swords or something. Who knows? I mean, I don't know anything about like the beginning, the prequels of the shows. I haven't read any of the books, only just like one. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of information, man. There's a lot of details behind this show. And
My guess is
Game of Thrones
that
shows.
this show is gonna lead up to the events of the Mad King being assassinated.
It has to.
Yeah, because it.
But then
looks-
again, it's 200 years though.
Oh yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
Since the Mad King got killed. The Mad King is Khaleesi's father, no?
Yeah, so I'm assuming that it was fairly recent, right before Game of Thrones season 1. So that's definitely not 200 years, then I guess.
Yeah, unless they speed it up in time. They
Could.
probably build up to multiple seasons.
Could
So
be.
there-
Yeah.
There is no Khaleesi here, and there's no Khaleesi's brother, right? I just want to clear that out.
No,
No, this is
This is
probably,
probably
like
our
great
grandmother.
Yeah.
Right. It's like the origin of the dragons, essentially. Maybe the dragons have already been present, but
I think it's like in the middle. Or it's probably like the highest point of their reign in Westeros. I think this show is gonna show, and pretty much like how much they have control over all the houses, and just getting a more deeper dive within the Targaryen family lineage.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where they're gonna take this because
oh yeah,
they could like I said they could do 200 years and then the second season or the third season can go to
100 years later.
100 years later, and then it starts leading up to the events of the actual start of Game of Thrones. Maybe.
Yeah.
Did you notice in the trailer there's a scene where there's a whole bunch of candles and there's something dark and smoky in the background? If you take a look at it, it's like a dragon head almost with all these teeth.
What's the mark?
Let me see.
Oh, it's the 18-minute mark.
18 seconds.
18 seconds. My bad.
Right there with the candles. Yep.
Oh shit! Yeah, look at that.
It's like a dragon head almost with all the teeth.
No, it's a dragon.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could be another mythical creature. You never know.
Or it could be the skull of a dragon.
Yeah.
That too.
Because remember, they did have the skulls underneath the castle, but I don't know if the Targaryens put those skulls there.
Yeah, but this is the time where the dragons are actually alive because they have dragons.
Yeah.
I believe it was the Crypts in Winterfell, they had the skulls of dragons. Because at one point they did have dragons, but then they didn't have it. That's why when Khaleesi got the eggs of the dragons, it was a big deal because it went into the hand of a Targaryen.
Yeah.
I want to say there's a new family also we're going to be introduced to. Because you notice the men with the dreads, right? I'm trying to look at any insignia on their clothing. It's very hard to tell, but I really don't see much that points to Targaryen.
You're right. It looks like the guy from Walking Dead.
Yes,
Name.
yes.
Yeah, this is his great great grandfather.
I'm
Then
dead.
you have a shot of this one Asian girl. Can't tell nothing from her, right? Oriental Asian. And then you got this clearly girl that looks like she's from the movie Brave from Disney with the red hair, and she's holding, I think it's a knife in her hand, it looks like. Yeah,
There's
it's a knife.
dagger.
It's a dagger, and it's kind of familiar, that dagger. I feel like we've seen it in Game of Thrones, that dagger. If you take a look at it, it has like a red jewel and a gold jewel on it. She's clearly charging at someone with that dagger. To be honest, I love to see that jousting scene. I love jousting.
This dude.
I mean, that jousting is, it's a part of history.
Hey, the Targaryen genes are absolutely strong.
Oh yeah,
Holy crap!
Yeah,
Like the
it's
way they
nuts.
casted these people, they look just similar to each other, all of them.
maybe some incest up in there.
I mean,
Yeah.
quite
I mean,
possible.
I mean,
Quite
it
possible.
wouldn't be the first time in Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
you know?
no, absolutely not. Because he looks like her brother. He looks
Right.
like he could be the father or the great grandfather of her brother.
This, whoever they cast as Khaleesi's grandmother, aunt, whatever you want to call her, amazing. Splitting image, amazing.
Where's that
So, yeah.
scene?
I wonder what who that guy is.
Who?
The guy with the dreads.
Well, there's another scene where they're like walking through a hallway, and it looks like a whole bunch of other Targaryens, but I'm not really sure.
Also, the king sitting in the throne wearing the Targaryen ring with the sword. Is that the Mad King, you think?
Nah. My guess is that the Mad King is probably that main dude that we saw in the beginning of the trailer.
Well, if you go to 50 seconds, and she's walking towards the throne, and there's somebody sitting in it,
Yeah.
but it's dark.
Yeah, I don't
Who's-
know.
There's something about this guy with the king's hand on his shoulder that kind of. I
The
don't
hand
know.
of the king.
Yeah, I'm trying. His face kind of looks familiar, and to be honest, you know who I want to make a false statement as who it could be?
Oh,
Who?
Remember the guy in the Game of Thrones series that turned into stone after a while because he had the disease?
no, I don't think so. That's
No.
yeah.
Well, I'm just saying maybe he could be alive all this time because he's whimsical, whatever, and
Well,
that could be him when he was the hand of the king.
I know the old man that was at the north or at the wall. He's probably gonna definitely be in it because he's a Targaryen and he's very very old. The one that was like talking to Jon Snow in the earlier seasons. Because I know
That's a good point.
he's related to Khaleesi. He's a Targaryen, so
Mhm.
he's definitely gonna be in this show when he's like younger. I know that. I'm just trying to remember. What was he, like an uncle or like a great uncle or something like that of hers? I'm not really sure.
And then there's that scene of the guy with the dreads fighting another knight. And I'm wondering what's going on there. Wait, who's in that chair? That scene that you guys were just talking about with somebody walking up towards the chair, but someone else is sitting in it.
Someone sitting in that chair. Who could that be?
This is why you need mechanical keyboards, guys.
I'm looking at the cast right now. Where is
Damn, I
this?
couldn't see it. It's so dark.
So you have Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen, Princess Rhaenys Valerian, Visceral Targaryen. I don't know. Some of these names do sound
so
familiar, but I'm not sure.
I looked up on IGN just to get like
Mhm.
a further explanation because, like I said, there's so much information within Game of Thrones that it's just way too much, and there are people who literally study this stuff like in and out, so they know the history and the timeline of what's going on. So
Mhm.
what it says is, so we know it's 200 years. So it says instead, it says House of Dragon is set in the era of another formative event in Westerosi history, Aegon's conquest. That was the destructive war where Aegon Targaryen, later dubbed Aegon the Conqueror, waged war on the Seven Kingdoms and ushered in the reign of House Targaryen. That conflict is so significant that recorded history in Westeros is divided into BC, before the conquest, and AC, after the conquest. However, we may not actually see Aegon's conquest in the theories. The Targaryens ruled the Seven Kingdoms for nearly 3 centuries before finally being overthrown. Overthrown during Robert's rebellion in 282 AC. House of the Dragon is specifically set in between the birth and death of House Targaryen. Ooh,
Mm.
that's
So it's
that's
the,
interesting.
it's the high point.
Yeah, the series will focus on the beginning of the end of the Targaryens' reign and the bloody civil war known as the Dance of the Dragons. There, Aegon II battled his sister, Rhaenyra, for the right to rule, and both would be monarchs, wound up dying in the ensuing civil war. That conflict is especially poignant because it marks the beginning of the disappearance of dragons from the known world, a sign of the larger doom to come for House Targaryen. Basically, expect a first-hand view of what it's like living in the Seven Kingdoms while Targaryen sits in the Iron Throne. As Sir Barristan Semley put it in Game of Thrones, King Jaehaerys once told me that madness and greatness are two sides of the same coin. Every time a new Targaryen is born, he said, the gods toss the coin in the air and the world holds its breath to see how it will land. Bro, so that's a valid point. Let me see. About the dragons. That I did not know. Because there's so much information about these shows and the story and the timeline. I didn't know that.
What?
That
Did y'all
that
notice?
conflict is especially poignant because it marks the beginning of the disappearance of dragons from the known world, a sign of the larger doom to come for House Targaryen. So the dragons were disappearing because of the Civil War,
Oh.
if I read it correctly.
Did
Yeah.
you notice during the joust, one of the horses had the House of Stark on him?
Lies.
I'm not even kidding. One of the horses has the wolf.
Where am I going?
I gotta go back to it. Hold on.
Well, I know there's a Lannister in the show.
Well, you're gonna have all the families still there,
Yeah.
right? Because it's still the Seven Kingdoms, and you're gonna have the families from past generations. And let's see, but this is cool because you're gonna see the Westeros side of things to see how everything led up. Because we didn't get that much from the Westeros side. We got everything from, the Starks, the Lannisters. What side is that? I forgot what side that is.
Oh wow, so they're gonna have Tywin Lannister's father in this. That's who Jason Lannister is. Jason Lannister is the father of Tywin.
I'm excited, man, just to see everything explained. Oh, you're right, bro.
What?
About the horse.
The white horse, because there's a brown horse and there's a white horse. Specifically, the white horse, I found out it's very hard to freeze frame it.
But yeah, I got it. 42 seconds. 42 seconds, you can see it clearly.
It's House Stark.
It's House Stark.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if that's... Who would that be? That would probably be like Ned's father or something. Or... I don't know. That's Stark.
But you know
House
what?
Stark.
Say what you want about prequels and sequels and You know, them doing like 10 Fast and Furiouses. When you have a genre, when you have a series so significant as Game of Thrones, this is that type of show that you can keep making different offshoots and series of everybody's story and everybody's life and everybody's lineage that us as the fans, we're going to appreciate it. So I'm proud of HBO. Like, keep doing this. The same thing that they're doing with The Sopranos, now they're doing it with Game of Thrones. Like, this is what we want. This is what the fans want. You don't have to give us a part 2. You could give us come back to the beginning and we'll be fine with that. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I like that HBO is now taking this route, and I'm really surprised, and I'll be very excited to see what else they're going to do along with Game of Thrones with their other shows. Like, in other words, let's say Westworld. If they did a beginning to Westworld, dude, insane. Because Westworld was another great series. So, I mean, this route, especially Game of Thrones, I could see Game of Thrones going as far past The Walking Dead in terms of prequels and sequels and offshoots and stories, because there's so much that George R.R. Martin created in this world that you can mass produce this much content for one series of books, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm excited. I hope they continue this. Like, I really want them to keep going into the different families and the different houses and just keep it coming up with these different stories. And then, of course, we need to have a Game of Thrones the following year. Like, what happens now afterwards, you know?
Well, after the original show?
Yeah. I say, this is my opinion.
Let's hear it.
Since this last season of Game of Thrones was absolutely atrocious. Atrocious. the worst ending, the worst season in any show ever. The only justice they can do to do a post Game of Thrones era is to give Jon Snow his own standalone show.
Yep.
Facts.
Yep.
I think fans will have not a single problem giving him his own show and seeing what happens. Like, how does he go about, you know, what other situations come up and occur? Because you never know the way the White Walkers got created. Maybe somebody else gets created, maybe another species gets created, or dragons are set loose, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
So they can create something where, while all that stuff was happening, another villain or another species comes to life, and he has to now deal with that and see how he can react or whatever, and still be the Jon Snow and come back. He's like the Batman. He sees the light and he comes in to save everybody else again.
Yeah, or like have like another family
Or have him
house
be-
or whatever.
Have him be like Benji, his uncle.
Could be.
Everybody was all talking about Benji,
Yeah.
the uncle who at the wall, and nobody knew if he was alive or not, this and that. And then he comes out of nowhere, and he's very pivotal for Jon and the Starks. That could be, he could be like the Benji story, but he comes back and he's Jon Snow. He's like the Luke Skywalker at the end of the Mandalorian. You know, he's like that guy.
Could be like that,
They need to do him justice. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He's the only character, man, where he deserves. I just can't, because I can't understand how they went so many seasons where yeah, we love, like, you know, them killing pivotal characters like his brother at the Red Wedding, where it shocked everybody. They were like, all right, we're going to make you fall in love with this character, we're going to take him out. But in the process, while they were doing that, they were building up other great characters like Jon, who was the bastard. He didn't have much.
Yeah.
You know, his family didn't like him. Ned knew his secrets and knew everything about Jon and tried to keep him safe and protect him. And then Jon becomes this iconic role, and they just completely do him dirty.
Yeah.
That doesn't sit well with me. And I don't know. That's just me personally. I don't know about everybody else.
I could definitely go for a prequel for the Hound, a prequel for Ned Stark, a prequel for Khal Drogo, right? And these are just individual people that I would love to see a prequel for them.
Yeah.
Well, you can go any way you want. I mean, this show is going to show you. Maybe this show is going to lead up to the prequel to Game of Thrones, like right there, right before all that stuff started happening, the first season. So whatever happened before the first season, they can throw all that stuff in leading up, like Robert Baratheon and his rebellion. They can start adding that in, and you have a young Robert Baratheon.
I got it. You guys know Jake Paul, right?
Yeah.
You know his dwarf friend?
Yeah.
He could play the prequel for Tyrion Lannister.
I'm dead.
What's his name?
There you go, HBO. There you go.
I honestly think they can go a lot of different ways with this show. I think they're really setting it up for 200 years because there's enough time and enough storyline to build up to the beginning of the Game of Thrones story. So therefore, like, you can literally see. Hopefully, we can see like the Robert Baratheon, how Tywin comes into play, and they skip that timeline. So all this stuff is going to be pivotal. Like if IGN's correct and whoever wrote IGN's article, you can see how like the Civil War and then how everything leads up after that. So I'm excited. I'm really excited to see how they're gonna do this, because they're gonna do it up. They did the show up really well. So
we're gonna have to binge watch it.
Absolutely, it's gonna be another Sunday get together with everybody.
Yes, sir.
Excited for it. But also, not to cut off, but like you said with the HBO with the prequels, it's the same thing they had to deal with The Sopranos with Many Saints of Newark. They're leaving it open, even though it was a movie, a prequel to The Sopranos. I think they're also leaving it up to as a prequel of a show and incorporating another show on Sundays with The Sopranos. So not only are you going to have this show, you might potentially have a Sopranos show on Sundays back to back.
Could be.
HBO Max coming in hot, baby. Even though we're streaming ever, they're coming in hot with shows, bro.
Yes. Yes.
They're coming in hot with shows, baby. I'm gonna dress up like this every Sunday.
Oh, D.
I look forward to it. I'm gonna light all these candles up, son.
My man's
all these candles getting lit up, son.
Everything.
Bro, I'm gonna order an actual authentic Game of Thrones. Bro, feel me?
He's gonna put it in his room.
Yep. By that time, I have my new apartment, and all you're gonna have is the actual throne TV. Done. That's all I need, and a cupboard.
And then he's gonna have a dragon. Oh man.
Oh my
God.
Final thoughts, though.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It seems pretty exciting what they're doing with all this time before, and it leaves open possibilities to different directions for the franchise and stuff. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man.
I think in terms of numbers, now that we've seen what HBO can do with Game of Thrones, aside from the last season, we don't count that, right? I think more fans are going to be invited to watch this, and I think they're going to give a backlog now for everyone who hasn't seen Game of Thrones. So I just think that HBO is just going to have a vast increase in their viewership after this for Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that they can add to this, like I said, I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to it, and I know anybody who's enjoyed Game of Thrones, who read all the books, which we know a few people who've read the books multiple times. Shout out to our boy Mark. Like, I'm not talking about like just one or two times. The guy just constantly reads the books, because they are really good books. Very long.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of history. There's a lot of history information about this world. But the only way HBO can just drop the hammer on everybody else and like literally run, be competition to Netflix, is if they like do like a prequel to Harry Potter. Like, think about that. Do a prequel to that.
Well, aren't
like,
they?
you know how many people would? It was Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah, Fantastic Beasts. They already did that.
No. I didn't watch it, but
it's garbage.
Was it similar? I don't know.
No, it's horrible. We don't count that. Listen, I'm not a huge Harry Potter fanatic, Like, I know the stories, I read all the books. I'm not into the lore as some of the fans are that are really like into the Harry Potter world. But to be honest, Fantastic Beasts, even though it's not really a prequel, it's more of like a offshoot extension and a prequel to Harry Potter. It was a very piss poor attempt on the studio company for creating that.
It was like a lazy way to do
Yeah,
it,
exactly.
essentially.
Yeah.
But here's another thing though. We also need to start they need to start creating new stories, finding
Right.
new stories to make.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember watching Game of Thrones when nobody, I mean, besides there were people who read the books before it even became a show, but as a person who
Battery
had no
low.
idea what the books were, I mean, I was like, wow, this is fantastic. Like, this is the first 2-3 episodes, like, right off the gate, out and running. And then, you sit down on Sundays, like, looking forward to it for all these years. And then they flopped the last season. But
Yep.
they should, start considering, like, new, because I know they're trying to compete with Netflix. Netflix
yeah.
got it locked. With this Squid Game show, man, Netflix skyrocketed themselves into orbit.
Oh yeah.
And it's such a simple concept.
Yeah.
Like it's not even anything crazy. It was just a good written show that's just batshit crazy.
Yep.
So, all right.
All right, guys. Is
All
that
right, boys.
All right, guys. Yep, that was another trailer reaction from the Last Slice boys. You can catch us every Tuesday for new episodes of the podcast on YouTube and all the audio platforms out there. And yeah, catch us next time on the next trailer reaction. And see you later.
Peace.